Are you serious? Are you serious? Good morning, everybody. Are you serious? Good morning. Get a cup of coffee. Calm down. This is a prophecy alert. A prophecy alert. All right, now we know that President Donald Trump put together, along with his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, what began to be what looked like the beginning phases of the covenant or the peace arrangement of many. And what I mean by that is there were a lot of folks started to make covenants with Israel, which the Bible said would happen. But who confirms the covenant? And what is the covenant? Well, at first it was just peace arrangements between the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Sudan, Morocco, Africa, Maui, and in Europe, Serbia, and Kosovo. And those nations have all said, we want to build a covenant with Israel. Trump had already said that Jerusalem was the capital of Israel and that was off the table, and that the Golan Heights was no longer for debate anymore, but that was the sovereign property of Israel. And that was it. Everybody just worked together. Let's move on. Well, Trump is gone, and Biden is now in the White House. But Joe Biden really doesn't want to get involved, he said, in this process. He has too many issues to deal with. So another man has stepped up, and that is the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, or Guterres is how you say his name, Antonio Guterres. He, along with what's called the Quartet, wants to put together the finishing touches of a covenant with many, and he would like to confirm this covenant in the United Nations. Folks, this is a prophecy alert. Let me put a shout out real fast. I want to tell you about the V conference too. I got an update on that because today is February 6th. So there is 4 more major presentations that are going to be added to the webinar today. So let me tell you about that, okay? So you want to get your ticket right now. But first, let's put a shout out right now to www.thecoldkiller.com. What? That's www.thecoldkiller.com. Guys, here's what we're finding out. This right here is an incredible heater that you can put in it will heat a room so quickly and so efficiently and so safely that we call it the Cold Killer. Just go to www.thecoldkiller.com. Even in the frigid temperatures of northern Indiana, with the snow a foot high and the temperatures below 20 degrees, the Cold Killer can space heat your room so quickly. But a family of 4 just recently was injured when they had a faulty electric heater on New Year's Day. Fire in their home. 2 children suffered smoke inhalation. The 2 adults had minor injuries. This could have been avoided had they had the Cold Killer. Just go to www.thecoldkiller.com. That's www.thecoldkiller.com. They've knocked the price off 50%. It is safe. It's efficient. If it falls over, it stops. If it gets too warm in the room, it can. Let me tell you what else is going on here, guys, real quick here, because this is a prophecy alert, big time prophecy alert. Again, we are getting literally some of the greatest response ever to a webinar. We've had last year 3 great webinars. And they were, of course, Megaquake 2020, Aliens, AI, and the Antichrist, and the Deep State Uncovered. But this one here is getting more rave reviews than any of the others, because the information is so important, so unbelievable, and so vital. That's another V. And we didn't put it on Vimeo. We fired them. That's another V. Instead, we are putting it on Truthcasters, who's doing a great job. Now, here's what we're going to do. What you want to do is you want to go to our website right now and get your ticket. Go to www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. Matter of fact, Tara is putting it in the chat room for you right now. Those of you watching this video on the archives. Look in the description below. Click it. Get your ticket. Here's what's happening. This incredible webinar was released yesterday evening at 6 p.m. The phone has run completely off the hook, and people are getting their tickets, and they're spreading the word and telling others, you got to get this, you got to get your ticket. Here's the deal. Today, more key presentations are being released. Sharon Gilbert's presentation will be posted today, as well as Bart Begley's DVD, Bart Begley's documentary called Build Back Better, Agenda 2030. And Dr. Carla Dean Graves, which is probably, maybe the best presentation of the whole conference. I mean, she's unreal. She met with President Trump in the White House, and she also met with Dr. Fauci. Great presentation of Heidi Begley and me together as we work together to bring you some real good clarity to help ease your mind and help you understand that not everybody's going to think the same way that you or I think. And yet you have to be patient, and you have to be respectful, and you have to have some consideration for their situation. Through it all, we want to give you so much great information that you'll be able to make an informed decision. So this V conference is incredible. Is there anybody watching right now? Because I can see right now there's people in the chat room right now. And has anybody in the chat room right now watched any of the V conference? Now, I apologize, but the interview with Mike Around the World has been censored. And it was censored actually in production. You get most of it. You get the 99% of it, but there is a couple places in there when we were filming that they literally censored Mike's phone call. You've seen that happen before in our regular calls, but we didn't think, we weren't live on the air when we recorded them. We were just doing it in a recording on a phone, and he was even on a secured line. Yet it was still censored because of some of the very, very vital information that he had. Okay. And I would try at some point to go back and listen to it and figure out what it was they were trying to cut out of there. But 99% of it is there. Okay. Sherry Johnson says, yes, it was great. Who else has watched so far? Let's see. Let me see. I'm looking here. Thank you, Sherry Johnson. She got hers, and she was watching some of it. There's another one. Brenda says, I love it. Sharika Davis says, yes, I noticed that one. That's the only one that happened to. All the rest of them had no censorship. His, though, you get 99% of his. There's about 1% that got censored. We're sorry. Couldn't control it. Yes, Ruby says, yes, it was awesome. Pamela Bullock says, yes, we loved it. George Robinson got his ticket and was watching. Yes, it's been great so far. Wow. Thank you. Sharika Davis says, yes, it is very interesting. Thank you, Sharika. Lisa Peacher says, it is good. Thank you. Truth Radio says, it's the best one. Thank you. Tara says, it's a great conference. It's the best one yet. Thank you, Tara. Wow. Philip Anderson says, I'm going to give a thumbs up. Okay. Praise God, Philip. Thank you. So get your ticket now. Now, here's what you do. Go to my website right now. Here's one. Lisa Peacher says, I love it, and I watched it till 2 a.m. in the morning. What? That's binge watching. And there's more to watch. You're not done. I know you're not done, Lisa, because there's 14 hours. 14. This is the most content, most speakers, plus the music from Kevin Wilson and Casper McLeod. It's incredible. There it is. Tara's telling you, get your ticket right now. And when you get your ticket, then you're going to get an email with your link. And I'll tell you something. If you don't get that email with your link within 15 minutes after you buy your ticket, I want you to pick up the phone and call this number right now, 765 414-2230. That's 765-414-2230. All right, now let me tell you more about, and we'll tell you more, and Tara will keep putting the link up there for you. Get your ticket now. Thank you, Tara. Now, let me tell you what's going on, guys, with the prophecy alert in Israel. We've got a major situation developing here. This is certainly a prophetic alert, and that is President Trump, as we said, didn't sign anything. Trump, other than he brought the Arab nations together that signed covenants with Israel. This is called the Abraham Accords. So it began with Jared Kushner and President Trump working together with UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, Sudan, and these other nations that we said. And actually, it was Jimmy Carter who actually got the first nation to sign a covenant with Israel, and that was Egypt in 1979. Then it was Bill Clinton that got the second nation to do it in 1994, and that was Jordan. And then it's Donald Trump that got the next 4 nations in the Middle East to sign on, plus 2 in Europe and 1 in Africa. So he got 7 nations to sign on. Now what's happened is Joe Biden is in the White House, and Biden doesn't really got much of an agenda on this. He's kind of like, I don't really have much to do here. So it's the United Nations Secretary General Anton Guterres. He has put his support behind a call for an international peace conference. He wants to hold it under the auspices of the United Nations and the Quartet. Well, who's the Quartet? Well, the Quartet is Russia, the United Nations, the European Union, and the United States. So Biden will get brought in, or his Secretary of State will certainly play a part. He wants to bring the Quartet together to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and he wants it based on the pre-1967 borders. That's totally not what Israel wants, and that's totally not what Trump was trying to do. So now you're starting to see the shift. Now, this long agreed goal, he said, by the UN, and this is a UN initiative, is clear: to end what he calls the occupation. So he's saying that Israel is occupying Palestinian territory. He's calling for a 2-state solution, dividing of the land, which we're told not to do in in Joel chapter 2, and I'll read that to you in a minute. He's calling for a 2-state solution based on the pre-1967 borders, in line with international law. He says, he's saying that this is the law anyway at the UN, and it's relevant to the United Nations resolutions and a bilateral agreements with Jerusalem still as the capital of both states. So now they don't want to divide Jerusalem no more. Trump said it when Trump said Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, and it still will no longer be divided. The UN is willing to succumb to that and let Jerusalem be the capital of Israel, but also let it be the capital of the Palestinian state. So they're not dividing Jerusalem, just allowing both states, if you will, to claim it. Now, so that means Trump's position changed the game some, but they want to divide the land. He spoke at the start of the opening of the 2021 session of the Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People. He said the United Nations remains committed to supporting the Palestinians and Israelis to resolve the conflict and to bring an end to the suffering, according to Anton Guterres. He is the Secretary General of the United Nations. Could he be the man that confirms the covenant? Is he the man? Well, Israeli and Palestinian peace process has been frozen since the 2014 former U.S. President Donald J. Trump's peace plan never led to a resolution between the Israelis and the Palestinians. Instead, it brought peace between Israel and several of its Arab neighbors. But U.S. President Joe Biden is not expected to launch a peace process at all. He's letting the UN do it. So Biden is backing out of the way, and he's letting Anton Guterres be the man to try to confirm this covenant. The Palestinian Authority wants to replace the U.S.-led peace process model with a multilateral one, and Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas has called for an international peace conference. And Anton Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, said that Abbas called for an international peace conference under the auspices of the United Nations and international law. Guys, this is where it's going now. It is also would be expanded to include the Quartet, and that would be Russia, the United States, the European Union, under the United Nations umbrella, to provide a more positive, they said, opportunity to advance peace in the region. Now, we're still waiting on a response by Benjamin Netanyahu and Benny Gantz and the leaders at the Knesset over in Israel. But the quartet was largely dormant with regard to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict during the Trump years, because Trump didn't want anything to do with them, because of census of all four of its members is needed. But the United States under Joe Biden is willing to work with the United Nations and the European Union and Russia. In an interview with the Washington Post, UN Secretary General Anton Guterres said that he was willing to move forward with this process. He said in specific, he asked that Israel immediately halt all settlement activity, which is a major obstacle, he said, to the achievement of a two-state solution and just lasting comprehensive peace. He also spoke out against violence and Israeli restrictions on Palestinian movement. Persistent acts of violence in the, quote, he said, occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem and Gaza, as well as Israeli movement and access of restrictions and other violations of international humanitarian and human rights law, exasperates the mistrust between the Israelis and the Palestinians and is driving us further from peace. So you can already see the position that Antonio Guterres is taking. They want to divide the land. Guys, what does this mean in Bible prophecy? Well, it means Guterres wants to confirm this covenant. Let me read to you what it says in Daniel chapter 9, verse 27. It says, he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. That's 7-year period. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. In other words, he'll stop the worship in Jerusalem on the Temple Mount. Probably stop it as it's going on inside the temple. Or maybe not. Maybe the temple won't be built at that moment. Maybe he'll just stop the worship, period. It says, though, that, but I think the temple's built, and I think he stops it in the 3.5-year period. That's what it makes sense. He shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So is it possible that we are about ready to see the confirming of the covenant? The confirming of the covenant of many. Is it going to be done by the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres? We will see. But you can see things are shifting now. Now, what about the dividing of the land? You're not to do it. You're not to do it. And you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to force it upon Israel. They're trying to force it upon Israel, which, of course, is prohibited to do. You're not to do this. But we're in a different world now, guys. You can see the process now trying to take another total different turn now that we have a new regime in the White House, and because you have a whole different set of players trying to move things on. The Abraham Accords is moving, but now here comes the Antichrist spirit, basically, to try to divide the land. The Bible says not to do this. If we go to Joel chapter 3, I want to read to you what it says. It says this right here. Joel chapter 3. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and have parted my land. God is saying here, Joel is prophesying that when it comes time that all nations, when all the world comes in, that would, but under the UN, it's all nations. When God is saying through the prophet Joel, I'm going to bring the whole world to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I'm going to plead with them for my people Israel. I'm going to plead with him, don't part my land. Don't do this to the heritage of Israel. And they will gather there to part the land. So, guys, what's happening right now is the Abraham Accords has been signed. That started the covenant with me, but it's not the conclusion. It hasn't been confirmed. And now Antonio Guterres is starting to move forward for what would be calling the confirming of this covenant. He wants to include the Russia, the United States, and also the European Union and the entire world of the UN. So this is going to be very interesting. What's going to happen now? We are moving. Now, if you think about the 7 years, we just showed you yesterday, there was an article that came out that now the experts are saying that this pandemic could last 7 more years, that there's no way to get immunity among the 8 billion peoples in this planet at the rate we're going. Anyway, things aren't working. They don't see it happening. It's going to take maybe 7 years. They're even now saying that air travel could be literally really stalled for the most part over the next 2 to 4 years. So we're seeing a total change and clampdown on this world. While that's going on, okay, so they're saying 7 years. Now we got the UN wanting to get together and put a deal together, a covenant with many, which includes parting the land, which would then put together a 7-year agreement. We've got Dr. Irvin Baxter, who met with me in November of 2019 in Jerusalem, in which he told me, Paul, they're going to start the covenant with many, he said, in the fall of 2020. And they'll probably get it confirmed by the fall of 2021. So he tells me this in 2019 while we're in Jerusalem having breakfast. So the fall of 2020 comes in September. And all of a sudden, the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain and Sudan, and then Morocco joins in, and then nations jump in. And the Abraham Accords begins the process of this covenant. but it's not been confirmed yet. And now we're at the beginning of 2021, and Anton Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, he wants to have a world peace summit and bring in the Quartet under the umbrella of the United Nations and try to part the land. He says it. He wants a two-state solution. He wants to give the West Bank and Gaza to Palestinians and let them share Jerusalem with Israel, not divide Jerusalem, but allow them to claim it their capital, just like Israel's going to claim it their capital, which Israel already has. So, having said that, he's talking about Joel chapter 3, the parting of the land. Guys, this is all happening so fast. We are definitely in a situation. So we're in no one's answering the phone. Yes, they are. They're answering. I'll tell you what's happening, Melissa. Pick up the phone and call again at 765-414-2230. If the phone is busy, wait 2 minutes and call right back. The phone is ringing off the hook. So I apologize that just keep calling. Wait about 2 minutes and call again. Okay. So go ahead and get your tickets. And then meanwhile, when you're getting your tickets, there's 3 people right now. Heidi's up there and they're up there right now sending links out to people that have purchased their tickets. If you got a ticket for the conference and don't have your link, or some reason the link didn't work or something, because there's a couple people had that problem, pick up the phone and call, or send Heidi Begley an email, or send me an email, Pastor Paul Begley at yahoo.com. Okay, Pastor Paul Begley at yahoo.com. And we will send you your link. Pick up the phone and call the number 765-414-2230. I apologize, Melissa, that you're getting a voicemail. What happens is if they're on the phone and someone else is calling, then it will just, they can't get you. So if that happens to you, just hang up, wait 2 minutes, call again. You will get through. We will get you. And we'll be on the phones all day. Now, as we said, pick up the phone and call that number, 765-414-2230. That's 765-414-2230. Or send an email to Heidi, to Heidi, or send one to Pastor Paul Begley at yahoo.com. Okay. And just say, hey, I don't have my link, and I'll send that link to you ASAP as soon as I get off the air here. Get your guys, what we're saying, a lot of people are watching the conference. They are loving it. You just saw a lot of the reviews a few moments ago. People were saying they love it. They love it. Some of you who are already in the chat room right now have been watching it. One lady said she stayed up to 2 a.m. watching it. Everyone's saying it's amazing. And folks are saying it's the best one yet. It is incredible. And today, when you get it, you'll see the list of speakers there. You'll see there's a great presentation by Dr. Carla Made and Casper McLeod. I interview them. Also, I interview Mike from around the world, which is an incredible interview, although about 1% of that interview got censored, even during the recording on his phone, but still 99% of it is there. Also, I interviewed Bishop Antonisha Snyder, and it's an amazing interview, and you'll really be shocked at the knowledge that he had. Also, I interviewed award-winning journalist Shepard Ambellis, a great interview, and everyone is saying they're raving over that one. And Derek Gilbert, his presentation, off the chain, and everyone is talking about that. Bishop Larry Ragland, a positive message of hope. And but today they're going to post Dr. Carla Dean Graves' message will be on there, and she met with President Trump. She met with Dr. Fauci. She's shaking her head, and that she's rolling her eyes when it comes to Fauci. You have to check. And then Sharon Gilbert breaks this thing down for you as a molecular biologist. Incredible. Also, Bart Begley's film, the documentary Build Back Better, Agenda 2030. It's a 3-part documentary on here. It'll be posted today. And myself and Heidi do a 54-minute presentation that's excellent. And I think you'll really, really enjoy it and help you comprehend. Plus, there's music by Kevin Wilson and music by Casper McLeod. So it's all there. Get yours now. Get it now. Get it now. Get your ticket. Go to www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. There's the link. Get your ticket right now at our website and get ready for V. All right. Pick up the phone and call if you need your link. If you get your ticket and you need your link, pick up the phone and call. We can give you the link right over. We can let us know you need that link. We'll send it yours right on the spot. As soon as you get your ticket, you should get your link within 15 minutes. If you don't, pick up that phone and call us or send me an email. All right. God bless all of you. I love you guys. I'll be back later today. There's more events going on, but this is truly a prophecy moment. I want to thank all 1,000 of you who showed up here spontaneously. God bless you guys. I got to get back up there. I got to answer a lot of emails. The phones are ringing off the hook. God bless all of you. Are you serious? They're trying to part the land. What does this mean? It means we're coming to the end. It means the rapture is just around the corner. So keep looking up because your redemption is drawing nigh.